Hi, now this is a walkthrough of my Marksman simulator of what I've done on it, which is the mechanics side of things. Now, this is Unreal. It looks complicated. There's a lot here. You know, all these different things you can add. It's quite a lot for a beginner to look at. But and I'm using my alternate project because this is where I tested everything on the mechanics side of thing, and if it works here, I put it on the main files, which then gets uploaded into a joint repository. But that's not working right now. I don't know why. I'm trying to fix it, but it takes time. So this does work. Now, it doesn't look like a lot to somebody who actually might know how Unreal works. For instance, these like first-person character, first-person game mode, first-person HUD, first-person projectile, completely stock. It comes with the template that's already there. Now, I haven't used these at all. I've just kind of skipped them. So I built this player character right from the get-go. Here, I'll just bring it up. And these are blueprints. I wrote them out myself. Far more complicated than those simple flowcharts look. So this is our player character. Let's have a look. We'll just dial down the speed here, else I'm going to go shooting through. And so yeah, so this is the camera where you look, as well as the rifle here. This is a model I purchased on the Unreal Marketplace. It was like $4, but I needed a realistic rifle, not the standard one that comes with the template, which I struggled to kind of figure out accuracy. So that is called the EB. Is it EB? It's down here. Oh, BLS Rattlesnake. So I have that. So I bought that. I added the model so that way I had something realistic and such. It doesn't look like much. It's literally just camera, the motion, the what direction, which is right here. Arrow points that way, and including this EB barrel, which is a plugin I bought. Now, if we just come out of here. I go to edit. Oh, actually, that might be the wrong one. It is. So, plugins. Now, this is Easy Ballistics. Now, plugins are basically code that someone else wrote. Now, this is Easy Ballistics. The author, Mookie, when they wrote it, it had a bunch of different ballistic variables to it. Not all of them, to be fair. From when I read the description, I went, this is a good start. It was getting late, about 2/3, 3/4 of the semester had gone. I was struggling, going, how the hell do I do this? So I bought that and then looked at changing, looked at going, oh, I'll get this and learn from it. And it was just money out of my own dime, and I can use it on other projects. It's not like buy it once, use it one time. So now here I adjusted this earlier, so we'll just to 1000. But this is a debug line which will hit compile. Which when I test fire it, it's that line that follows them. Looks pretty impressive. So there it is. That's our bullet flying. There's the bullet curving and dropping as it flies through the air, losing momentum. There the bullet fires off. So unless you pay attention quickly, you kind of miss it. So that is set at 100. We'll just get rid of that. Okay. Now I figured to find that too short, considering I'm colorblind and they're using yellow and red. So we've changed it to 1000 and we've compiled it again so it works. And now the line, as you can as you kind of watch it, it lasts a bit longer. It's a bit, yeah, it's a bit longer, so that's quite nice. So, fire it a few more times. You can only fire it about once a second. And they're all curving. Now, I have adjusted these settings to a, is it down here? Not so much here, but this is set at fully auto, and here is the fire rate. Its fires is 1.0, so that's 1 second, once per second. Now I've coded it to match. Yeah, here it is. If you move further down for a, where is it? Here it is. Flight. Now this is. I've adjusted these settings. The muzzle velocity for a 338 Lapua Magnum rifle. Now, when a bullet is fired, it is fired at 915 meters per second. I don't know if there's a range, but basically the min and max, if they don't match, the system will grab basically a number between those two values, and that's where the speed of the bullet will come out with, and it will adjust every time. Now, there is no spread. I figure sniper rifle, we're going for accuracy, is not appropriate. Now, the mass. This is the mass of the bullet. Originally, when I got this, the default was set to 0.005, so 5 grams, if I've done my math correctly. Whereas the bullet for a 338 Lapua is actually 10 grams. The mass was set at like 5, the diameter, I should say, was set like 0.5 something or other, whereas the actual diameter is, as you can see, 0.782. I just looked it up on Google and said it, but these are the settings for that the plugin has. Now, this includes stuff like wind, atmosphere. Now, here's the thing with using other people's code. One of the plus sides is the fact that it's far more complicated than I can do. It allows a beginner and someone learning to implement a lot more complicated codes and mechanics. If you find something that you want to use, unfortunately, when you use someone else's code, at least everyone who's properly taught programming is taught to use clear variables. What's clear to one person isn't clear to another, because here we've got atmosphere type. So we've got constant density. I don't understand what that means. And we've got sea air density. Now, usually when it comes to this, when I was doing the research, that was like humidity. Because the more humid it is, there's more water in the air, which means that there is more pressure. The air is thicker, so it's harder to go through. So I think that comes under specific gas content here. Yeah, dry air. There. So I have to kind of figure out what these mean, and I don't know. Like, speed of sound varies with altitude. Okay, I understand theoretically what that means. I have no idea what that means when it comes to using this plugin, though. I can't just click I suppose I could just click that and see what happens, but I wouldn't know what to look for. I don't know what this is. So, I've got gravity, there's override gravity, so, this sets it to a specific one, sea level radius, using all this stuff. Safe launch, from what I understand, is literally when it first fires the bullet, it goes a certain distance away for you before it becomes an active, so that way you don't literally shoot yourself in the foot. They've even got stuff for a shotgun, because this can be used more than just a long distance rifle. This could just be used for a normal FPS that you want to make realistic, and there's the stuff on impact, which I haven't adjusted. There's no need to at this point. I'm just testing to make sure the bullet flies properly. And when I get further down this stuff here, I don't actually know what it is. I'm only beginning, I'm getting out, so if we just come back up here to colors, I'm going to adjust this, so I'm going to add some blue. I think, yep. So I think that's a blue. Okay, that looks more purple or pink. I have no idea. So we'll compile that. And that line which I fired earlier, if you watch it, it should change colour into a purple. I hope it stands out. So, oh, you know, it's fading in colour. You can still see it travelling. Yeah, you know, that was red before. I don't know what colour it is now, but yeah, let's go have a look. And we'll just change that back just to... Okay, I didn't even know you could do that. So you can literally pick your colour, so move that back to 0. There it goes back to red. It's an innocent change, but there we go. Now, theoretically, we can just move further down here to shotgun flight here and change its mass to, say, 1. It's a bit much. And this will... And you see it curves a shitload earlier. That is impressive, but you know, so just by subtly, well, making that small adjustment, it's not small, but 0.1, that's 10 grams if I've done my very basic math correctly. And we'll just, and it's not curving as quickly from my eyes anyway. I think it's gone further. So that's, so this is just what I've got working. I've deleted this and redone this actual simulator for practicing like 3 different times from not getting it to work properly, but that's kind of what I've got so far. I've got a character movement. You know, I've built these blueprints. You know, this mouse input is just you looking up and down, left and right with the mouse. You know, and when you look at it, it looks really simple. I didn't even realize how to do this. You know, character movement, a bit more complicated. I literally just watched a YouTube video, pausing it after everything after every one thing they did, and basically just replicated that. So this now moves on the WASD keys, and this is literally just how to fire it. And this is me calling up the Easy Ballistics barrel, which is part of the plugin I bought. And literally, if you do not have this here shoot, what ends up happening is, since it's set on fully automatic, you press the button, you click the mouse button, it just starts firing consistently. It doesn't stop. So we actually had to add this, which happens that it stops firing when you release the button, the mouse button. So that was quite a little bit of an adventure. You know, I can come down to character movement, and I can adjust the actual walk speed of the character. Not that there's any point, considering my map is just very large but flat. So there's all these different settings here that literally I haven't adjusted. I literally just added the character movement component, and away we went. And I had a character that moved once I set up the blueprints down here. I've put comments boxes around them just to make it less confusing and go, this goes together. So if we come back into the map here, I'll just start walking around. This map is roughly just over 300 meters across, between 300 and 400. I can't remember the exact numbers. It's been a while. I just made it quickly at the beginning. It took me 2 minutes when I actually knew what I was doing. When I did it and first tried it, it took me like an hour trying to understand all the terms going, what does this mean? And so it's about just under 400 meters wide, if I've done my math correctly, and just under, it's about 1,260 meters long. And I made it that long because I wanted to try and go straight for the kilometre shot. Not the best starting point. I definitely did not make it easy on myself. There's no wind values I've added to this. Theoretically, if we just hit stop there, if we go into our bullet settings, now if we come up here to wind, now see if we change this to say 2, now theoretically that should go 2 to one direction. So when we click in and go play, that you can see a slight curve. So that is moving at, if I remember correctly, like 2 centimeters a second. It's not much, but everything's coded in Unreal in centimeters. So when you try and add a target like I did to the original one, so the master copy, I had to move a kilometre. You have to move it 100,000, I believe it is. Some god awful distance. So yeah, 100,000 centimeters to make up a kilometre. Whereas I moved at 10,000 originally, so I'm going, that's very, very close. But yeah, so that is roughly my project. It's not, hopefully it's clear, but there you go.